Take 3. Good. All right, it's working again. It kind of froze, didn't it? Did it freeze for everybody else? My shit completely froze. By the way, sorry for all the technical difficulties and mishaps along the way. One-man show at this point, doing the old social media Sundays. Hashtag SMS. Hashtag blessed. Sunnyside, you just joined. Okay. Favorite superhero? Me. Duh. Hi. All right, cool. We got it to a K. How many people can you have live stream at one point? Am I capping out or am I just not getting up there? I need to work on my numbers. Regards back to Pakistan. Zarna Bijorani. Madison Chalmers still saying, let me join. Okay, I'm going to try and find you, Madison, but please, whether it's you or anybody else, I really am looking for people. Jennifer Taylor went to high school with me. I thought I was a total babe back then. Well, okay, girl. Okay. Maybe I have more game than I thought I did. What? That's where that fingernail polish emoji comes in handy. Come on. Yes, you were here before, I guess. I don't know. I'm waiting for the thing to pop up to say, let people stream. So until we do, just kind of hang out. Thank you, by the way, for anybody who has been hanging out on this Sunday and all the hearts. I see all the hearts. Look at that. It's amazing. You say hearts and all of a sudden a whole bunch of hearts. Just did it again. Hearts. It's too much fun. See, this is where social media and technology is really fun, I think, and it's also informative. And let me again reiterate. Let me again reiterate and say to anyone out there who was really offended by what I said or how I said what I said yesterday. Honestly, my intention, I know this might sound crazy, but my intention was not to offend you. My intention is to draw attention to what real offense is and how we're going about doing this stuff. And I hope, at the very least, I hope you guys understand what my context and what my perspective, what I meant by what I tweeted, which was not at all anywhere near what was being assumed what I was saying. I wasn't asking my followers to sick anyone. I wasn't diminishing that there may be real problems in the world that some people are correlating to friend zoning, but are not friend zoning, in my opinion. I hope that you're seeing that I'm a human being and I genuinely care. And for anyone out there who hates me or still hates me or greatly dislikes me, completely your right to feel that way. Know that I will continue to love you. I will, and I don't mean that in some trite, weird, stupid way. I genuinely do. I love people. I believe that is what we are called to do. Even your enemies, even people who fucking despise you, we are to love those people. And sometimes love doesn't feel real lovey-dovey. Sometimes love is a good, hey, check it out, which I think some people thought they were doing to me, hey, come check this out. But that wasn't what was going on. It was attack, and it was vicious, and it was uncalled for, and it was, enough to elicit a response from me that you got, which was real, and it was for a reason. So that's all important. Oh, by the way, another thing I wanted to bring up was, this concept that friend zoning is somehow a sexist, misogynist thing. I've seen all those op-eds that I read, by the way, they all take incredible liberties, assumptions. They say, this is what men mean. And that is definitive. That's all men, which is not accurate, which is not true. And I am not about to go get taken down the road of, well, don't give me this not all men stuff. It's not. And I think it's important that people understand that when men say, no, not all men, they mean that. And that's true. And that you can't just blanket statement something over people about what some might be doing. You can't just do that. But moreover, sometimes they were saying things that were just false in the, which one was it? I have them right here. Oh, crap, I got to move my phone. I emailed them to myself so I could read them again later. Oh, and the BuzzFeed article was about how Daniel Radcliffe had come into the BuzzFeed offices, and he was doing a movie that had something, I think, somewhat correlated to friend zoning, and he started talking about how he thought it was dangerous or bad. And then there were, I think, at least 3 women who are staff writers or whatnot at BuzzFeed who wanted to weigh in on what that was. Well, again, they're all entitled to their opinion, and I think that they all have some perspective from their own personal experience or what they know of other people. But they were making false statements. One of them literally said, women don't friend zone. They quoted Daniel Radcliffe as saying, they quoted Daniel Radcliffe as saying, look at you, back to the phone. They said, what Daniel Radcliffe said is so true. You never hear a woman say, I'm in the friend zone. You just don't. That's unequivocally, I'm going to stop using words that I'm not exactly sure how to pronounce. That is absolutely wrong. You can go and take a poll right now. It is a two-sided situation. There are men and women who friend zone and get friend zoned. And again, and then there's multiple definitions of what that even means. So, so for anybody out there hating me, I love you. I hope that I've shown you something about who I am, that you understand that I'm not against you. But I am not going to just be railroaded by an emotional manipulation into believing something that I don't actually think is accurate, and certainly wasn't ever given an opportunity to weigh in on before it was redefined. I just don't think that's fair. Okay, so I'm a woman and I've been friend zoned. By the way, I know I've seen, literally, actually, to be perfectly honest, when I broke down, and I'm pretty good at like being able to snapshot a lot of data within my feed, when I broke down the amount of people that replied back to me and said, I'd been friend zoned, it was more women than it was men. So again, there's a lot of things that are being bandied about as being fact or somehow settled science, and it's opinion. It's people's opinions, and opinions are massively flavored by one's own experience. Anyway, I think that's important. Okay, so come on, I want this stream thing to come back up so I can get. Here we go. Okay, cool. Here we go. All right, I already tried you and you didn't work, so I'm gonna see if I can find. Where did that go? Oh, sorry, guys. This thing just keeps moving. It keeps moving. Oh, she's playing a cello. Or not a cello. Maybe it's a cello. No, cello's down here, right? Yeah. She's playing a violin. Oh, and her username has violin in it. So it is definitely a violin, guys. Sherlock Holmes, that one.
Hi! Oh my God, is that true? Hi, Zach.
What's up? I'm losing you. Oh, hold on. There we go. Can
Are you listening to me? Wait.
Oh man, this is just not working. Oh, can you hear me?
Hi.
Hi.
Yeah.
Hi.
Do you see
What's
me?
going on? What's your name? Yeah. I think this isn't gonna work. This isn't gonna work either. I'm so sorry. You gotta go. Bye. Oh man, guys, unless you got a good Wi-Fi connection or something, it's gonna be very difficult to make this thing happen. I'm gonna try another one. I'm gonna keep going. I'm gonna keep going here. I'm gonna try and figure it out. Let's try. We got a little cute little dog in yours, Elizabeth Allison. Welcome to the show. If you make it to the show, please have good Wi-Fi. Hey, yo.
Hi.
Yes, you seem like you have good Wi-Fi. Yes.
I think I do.
Very good. Hi, I'm Zach. What's your name?
Elizabeth.
Elizabeth, pleasure to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Do you mind if I ask how old you are? Or what decade you grew up in?
I'm 31.
31. Okay, rock and roll. I've had a 15-year-old and a 17-year-old and a 25, a 27, and an 18-year-old so far on the stream. And I think it's important, obviously, for context and perspective, kind of what we're talking about. Speaking of, have you seen the tweets? Have you followed what's been going on with all this?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, thank God. Okay, good. So now, okay, we can actually discuss that. I'm sorry, I'm just trying to get this in a way where people aren't just seeing me. Hold on, let me scooch down in my chair. All right, that's a little bit better. Okay, cool. So, Allison.
Elizabeth. Last name is Allison.
Elizabeth.
It's confusing. I have two
Copy.
first names.
I'm Zachary Levi. It happens all the time. So,
even though that's my middle name. But the point is, so what is your take? And please don't feel like if you disagree with me, that's totally fine. I will not be offended. I genuinely want to understand not just kind of where this term, when this shifted, but also from my perspective and the bigger conversation, you know, why do we as certain groups of people feel very passionate about something, decide that we want to change it for us, and then assume everyone else already knew that and is on board with that, which is, again, kind of my bigger dilemma here. But let's start with what is your take of friend zoning, and where does that lie? Is that what's your take on friend zoning? What is the definition to you, and how does that what emotion does it elicit in you?
I think that the definition is changing because I think, as you said, new groups of people are starting to struggle with the definition as a misogynistic term. I don't think that that's in the mainstream yet. I don't think that's the way most people use it. I think most people use it very innocently, saying like, I wanted to be in a romantic relationship, but it didn't work out that way for me, so I was friend zoned. I think where people see it as something negative is then that it has such a negative connotation that it devalues the friendship and says, because we're not in a romantic relationship, this friendship is now a bad thing. I'm not happy with our relationship.
Right.
And it may not be worth pursuing. And so I think generally, I think generally that's where the problem lies, is that people feel that if someone says that they have been friend zoned, it's that they aren't appreciating their friendship fully with that person, that romantic interest.
Gotcha. See, and while I feel like I understand that that's, you know, and by the way, and even more sinister, which is that some women are feeling that it's gone to a place where certain men feel owed sex because they've been kind or nice to someone, right? And that is 100% wrong. I guess one of the things that I am trying to grapple with, and I don't agree with, is that just because a small section or whatever that's, again, anything less than what the majority is, and that group of guys is bastardizing or illegitimizing or somehow using that term for their own benefit or for guilting or whatever. So we just throw the entire word out. We just stop using it because those guys have used it incorrectly. Or it's like if a gang all of a sudden started wearing a certain color combination, right? Like that, let's say it was reminiscent of, like, I don't know, a country's flag even. You know, like Ireland, like, you know, orange and white and green. And all of a sudden there was a gang, they were vicious, they were horrible, and those are the colors. Do we all of a sudden just stop putting up Irish flags because those people have misappropriated it? That's what I feel like is happening as far as the definition is concerned. Does that make sense? Or
no, I see the analogy that you're making completely. I don't know that we need to completely stop using the term, but I do think it's important to be sensitive to the people who are saying that, hey, this is a problem. And yeah, the tweet that was sent to you wasn't coming from an angle that was wanting to educate you. So I think that's where that conversation stopped.
Gotcha.
I do think that when a group of people, even if they're smaller than the majority, starts to say, hey, this term might be problematic, then it might be time to pause and really investigate and reflect on whether you agree with that or not just write off the opinion or say, we're not going to do that just because it's a small group of people saying that or using it this way.
Oh, no. And by the way, I completely agree with that. There are many things in my own personal life where I am in the minority of those thoughts. In fact, this kind of stuff, I think sometimes, like even just like sitting down and being like, hey, let's talk. I don't hate you. We totally disagree, but I mean, not you and I, but, you know, in the general. But there are many things, many opinions that I have, many thoughts that I have that I know are in the minority of what is in the world. But I know that if I believe that to be true, and I want everyone to experience nothing but truth, because I think through absolute truth comes joy, comes love, comes all those things. If I want other people to get behind that, the last thing I'm going to do is start yelling at that person, assuming, because essentially the anger is broiling from, they should already know. And not only should they already know, they should already be on board. They should have already agreed. And that, to me, is not getting anyone anywhere closer to more truth. You know what I'm saying? And that's what I felt like I was dealing with. And I certainly, and again, in the bigger conversation, I think this is something, that's why I wanted to talk about it. Because my definition of friend zoning still hasn't changed. My understanding of how other generations have been using it, or how certain people have been using it, has definitely been enlightened. But I still stand by what I tweeted to that guy in high school. There was nothing in that was, in my opinion, condoning any kind of bad behavior. Bad behavior can be done using anything. People who want to go do bad behavior are going to use anything they can to go and justify that bad behavior. But, I'm in agreement. If there's something that needs to be heard, the size, it could be one person. I mean, look, as a Christian, or as a person of kind of a Christian spirituality, right? We believe in this guy, Jesus. He was one guy. He wasn't just a small group. He was literally one guy. He was like, yo, check it out. Maybe we can look at life a little bit different. And one might argue he got killed for that. But the point is, it has nothing to do with the size. It has everything to do with, is it true? And are you sharing it because you actually care about the person that you're sharing it with? And I think those two things are being sorely lost in just in the world in general.
Right. And I think that that's a big part of the conversation that you're facilitating right now. So what I'm interested in is, although it didn't necessarily start in a very positive or conducive way for conversation, when you did all that extra research, did you learn anything that was new or really interesting? Do you still feel the same about the term friend zone, or has your opinion changed a little bit?
No. That's what I'm saying, is that I've read all of these, or I've read everything that everyone sent to me, and which is about a half a dozen articles or so. One of them was an article, but it was kind of an article that was citing this writer who on Twitter was kind of talking about how friend zoning is, the term friend zone is a lie or whatever. And all of these articles, again, they're all op-eds. They're all opinion pieces. From everything that I read, there was not one empirical piece of data. There weren't polls taken. We went to 1,000 people and we asked 1,000 people, what is your definition? It was just people who, and by the way, sometimes very eloquently written, but it's still a very personal thing that they are, and this is what writers do. I write occasionally as well. You are venting your feelings. You are saying, this is how I feel about this thing. But if there's no real data to back that up, that's not going to sway my opinion as to what I think the ultimate truth is. That said, I 100% saw these writers' vantage points, these writers' perspectives on this, and the people that they cited from that. I had a problem, though, because they were using incredibly definitive wording, like men, not some men, not even half men. It was just men do this, or no woman has ever said, I've been friend zoned.
Yeah, hyperbole gets us nowhere.
Hyperbole gets us nowhere. Oh, yes. If you really want to get to the heart of something, you can't just make these blanket statements. And so I got to tell you, it was difficult for me to read these and not feel like they were being unfair even to their own argument, because I didn't feel like they were being fair to the facts, to truth. However, clearly there are a section of people right now who believe that men and only men, which again, I don't necessarily agree with, but again, that only men are using this, and and friend zone, or the term friend zoning, is being used to guilt women into essentially telling them, you owe me sex for being nice to you, right? That is not okay. But to me, that's not friend zoning. That's being a sociopath. That's no, seriously. I mean, this is mental health we're talking about. This is not a term that people have now hijacked. If they've hijacked it, this group of men, these young men, they don't get to redefine what friend zoning is. You can't allow evil to redefine something that's innocuous or even good and then go along with the evil because they hijacked it. You got to be able to say, no. Young girls who are coming up against this, or men like myself saying, no, you can't say that girl friend zoned you and using it in that term or in that casing. I think we have to be able to say, there's a difference in that, right? And if we can't come to the table and at least discuss that without people saying you're not listening to women, which is what people were accusing me of. I'm not listening to women. I'm listening to everything that anybody, there's not a delineation to me. We're human beings. And for the onslaught to happen, I got to say, I do feel like not only is it unfair, but it made it even more difficult. And I'm somebody who wants to learn. I want to learn all the time. You are not going to get people who don't want to learn if you're just saying, go fuck yourself. And again, if you finally get them to the articles to try and learn if it's a bunch of hyperbole or if it's just a bunch of opinion, which again is valid. I do believe that everyone's opinion, we are entitled to our opinions, but not everyone's opinion is as valuable as another opinion, because some people have more educated opinions than other people, right? So that's just really what it comes down to in that. But I think to answer your question, which I hope I did, I 100% see that there is a problem in young sexuality where specifically, and I don't know where this threshold is, because again, none of those articles really talk about age ranges. But some people are saying it's much more younger guys and, where we're at kind of as a society. There is a problem with sexuality in general, I think, in our society. We are oversexed as a population. It is everywhere. We're all expected, men and women, to behave and act and look in certain ways that I don't think are healthy for interpersonal relationships, for our own self-love, any of that shit. I think there's a lot of bad stuff going on. But I don't think, so I agree with some of the bad shit that's going on that these girls are pointing out, but I don't make that correlation. I don't believe that the term friend zoning is just, well, it's out. It's the baby out with the bathwater. We can't say that word anymore because some people fucked it up, and now nobody can say it because now you're condoning bad behavior. That is an irrational overreach, in my opinion. And again, something that comes from a place of arrogance to assume that we all even knew it was happening, that this redefinition happened, and that we should all already be on board. So does that make sense?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, cool. Did you find this interaction to be beneficial in any way?
Yeah, I think it was really an interesting conversation. I like having conversations where you get to discuss the way that terms change and evolve.
Yeah.
As society evolves. I am a student of linguistics and English and literature.
Good.
And so
did you see those tweets about cash and judge and all that? Never mind.
So I think no, I didn't see them.
Okay, sorry. It was a dumb joke.
Dumb joke. No, I didn't see those, but I think it's really, really fascinating the way that language changes, and I think language does evolve. And so I think it's going to be a word to watch because there has been so much buzz around it. Mm-hmm. I think that a lot of people are really sensitive to the idea that that flirting or kindness can be confused with each other. Yeah. And I think that friend zoning can fall into the category of something that is, the understanding of it is based on anecdotes. And I think an anecdotal understanding of being like, well, I've been friend zoned, and therefore this is an experience completely, is a dangerous way to just define it. Sorry, yeah.
No, it's okay.
My husband just came home.
No, it's all good.
So I should probably get going.
Well, tell your husband I said hello.
Okay, well.
And I hope you guys have a fantastic day. We'll talk to you later.
Thanks for the conversation.
Yeah, absolutely. You too. Bye. All right. So how was that? Did anybody learn anything? Where's the top of my head? Top of my head? That's the top of my head right there. I know it gets a little, because I go into the split screen situation, guys, and then it's got to, and then listen, as a queer woman, I've had many perspectives on the topic. So talking about black, I don't know. I wanted to read that comment. Hold on, stop commenting, everybody, just for 1 second. As a 25. Gosh, I'm ready. Look for the. I see. Look for the Captain. Okay. I'm gonna look for you. I'm gonna look for the Captain America hoodie, and we'll see. I think she did have birds. Yes, I think that's what we were all hearing. Those were some birds, and then a dog at the end, and then a husband. It was a family affair. Just at a show of thumbs up. Is this beneficial Are we learning anything? Are we growing at all? Is this something that we should keep talking about? Should I just stop talking about it? I mean, I promise I'm not going to keep going on and on about it on social media after today, although it may come up again, and I'm not going to shy away from talking about it. But I think this is all really important stuff. What's going on with my hair? I don't know. What is going on with my hair? It's that's my hair. Do you have a problem with my hair? I'm trying to talk about important things, and all you want to talk about is what's going on with my hair? Come on. Thumbs up, thumbs up. Okay, cool. Thumbs up, thumbs up, thumbs. Yeah. By the way, isn't it amazing that talking about like language, right? Language and language barriers and what we understand and what we don't understand. I mean, universally, this is good. This is good, guys. I mean, that's kind of amazing, don't you think? Where did this start? I'm not going to assume it started in the Western world because I don't know. Oh, by the way, which also brings me to something. Sorry, I'm going to tangent again. But a lot of these op-eds that I read, or even people's opinions on Twitter that they were sharing, they were saying part of the reason it was a misogynistic term was because it was created by men. And I got to tell you, it stops me in my tracks to hear something like that because who the fuck? I have no idea who created the term friend zone. How do you know who created the term? The internet doesn't even know who created the term friend zone. It could have been a woman. It could have been a girl talking to her friends going, yeah, I had to stick him in the friend zone because I wasn't really attracted to him. You have no idea. You have no idea. So any of these people that are in these articles literally saying men came up with this term, or on Twitter saying men came up with this term, that's a lot of presumption to be throwing around. Anyway, but which brings me to, I don't know where the thumbs up, or back to, I don't know where the thumbs up came from, but it's pretty universally groovy, isn't it? I like it. I like this one too. I like the shaka, that kind of a situation. I feel like Hawaii's done well with that. The Polynesians in general, it's made its way around the world pretty well. I think surfing kind of helped that along. I don't know who created it either. I don't know. It's more often used by guys who complain. It may be, I don't know, but whoever said that, do you have? There's no poll. I don't know. That's an assumption. Guys, we can't throw around opinions and assumptions as if they are fact. You are misleading people when you do that. You can't. People are looking for answers. They're looking for direction. And when you use hyperbole or you use opinion and you just throw things out like, yeah, it's probably that. That could be derailing people really heavily. So I think we just need to, the fact that I'm in my 30s and just realizing this term has a negative spin shows your privilege, just saying. I'm not going to respond to that. I'm going to let you and anyone else take in everything that I literally just said for the last, holy crap, we've been doing this for like an hour and a half. The last hour and a half. Privilege does not, in fact, it's actually pretty counterintuitive. The more privileged I am, the more access I have to information. So I should have seen it on the news. I should have read it on my laptop that I own because I'm privileged, but I didn't. That doesn't make any sense. I don't, come on guys, think about what you're saying. Think about it. It's not hard. And please stop judging. Oh man. Okay, all right. Well, let's try and get another. Wow, we've been really doing this for like an hour and a half. I know, but I kind of like it. Do you guys like it? Thumbs up if you're still in it with me. We'll do this for a little bit longer, and then I swear to God, I'll be done. You're in your 20s and you never knew this was an issue. How dare you, you privileged person? I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. Why so serious? I don't know. I'm actually feeling pretty groovy considering we're dealing with such heavy topics that I had, that weren't heavy before 2 days ago, at least for many of us. I don't know. But apparently we're all privileged and we didn't know that. Come on, how does this live pop-in thing? Is it random? Does it just decide every once in a while? If they change the meaning of the expression, that's their problem. I know, I agree. Megan, you'd love to chat? I would love to chat too. I have to wait. I don't know how to manually do it. It literally just kind of pops up in the chat thread. It goes, oh, would you like it? And I gotta go, yes. You gotta time it perfectly, and then you gotta somehow time picking the person perfectly. Instagram, we gotta work on this. Let's change the topic to something light. I don't know. We talk about light stuff all the time, guys. Again, we can talk about Shazam and Chuck movies and all that. We talk about that all the time. Everybody asks the same light questions about that. I think we need to talk about heavy stuff sometimes. And, you know, we can talk about heavy stuff, but not try to be too heavy about it, which I think I'm trying to do. I am not Groot, but thank you for asking. I love that guy. Yes, the term privilege is a whole nother topic to discuss. We should do that. That'd be a good one. I think that we should need to talk about all this stuff. Let's be honest about it. Let's you know, and you quoting facts and different studies and things. I'm all about it. I'm all about it, guys. Hessa from Saudi Arabia. Hello, Hessa. How are you? Tortilla Man 01. Thumbs up to you. Sometimes funny comments out there, like the one you received, can be a cry for help. I work with a lot of patients who will have very strange reactions when they are trying to process. And that may be, you know, I try to play every tweet that I get as best I can, you know, and again, guys, you know, talking about context and perspective, I would hope that we try to take people as a whole. We're all fucked up, right? We're all broken. We're all faltering on a daily basis, sometimes moment to moment. We're just hanging on. I would hope that people aren't expecting me to be 100% perfect, but more than that they're taking me as a whole. And if you would have just looked at the tweets from that 24-hour day, or even the hour before I tweeted that one, I think you could have gotten an idea of who I am, what my heart is, where I'm coming from. You know, it's pretty fascinating. It's pretty fascinating how fast people, you know, they can. It's like, okay, you're good, you're good, you're good, you're good, you're good, you're good. Fuck yourself. Like it's like wow, like that fast. It's just gnarly. You've possibly given me the confidence to ask a girl I really like out. That's great. You should totally do that. And if she says, hey, no, I don't want to do that. I just see you as a friend. That is what you need to 100% respect that. But here's the thing. Also respect yourself enough to know that if you feel romantically for her and she does not romantically feel for you, you can and possibly even should take the time to maybe not be friends for a little while so that you can process your feelings healthily, and then you can reapproach your friendship. I think this is one of the other problems with friend zoning that people are not addressing, which is that when you know someone wants to be with you romantically and you don't want to be with them romantically, that's now an unhealthy relationship. Just that is unhealthy, because it's already one-sided in the moment. You got to be able to process those feelings and say, okay, this person likes me. Maybe we shouldn't be friends for a second, because that's one of the things I've never, you know, and I'm not saying I'm not guilty of it, you know, because we've all had somebody that maybe we thought, oh, I think they're into me more than I'm into them. And we kind of go about our time. And the truth is, you know, there's a part of you there's a little selfishness in there, because you kind of like it. You like that person is still wanting to hang out with you and praise you or give you adulation or be sweet to you, whatever. You like that. Normal friendships aren't that. Guys, girls, if you are friend zoning somebody and they are puppy dogging, you are part of the problem. You have got to be able to say, hey, you know what? It's not fair to this person that I just keep stringing them around or hanging around. Like, I know they want more, and they're giving me more than my other friends give me. Guys with other guy friends or girls with other girlfriends or girls with guy friends that they're not into, and it's a mutual thing, or vice versa. You know, you're not sitting around bringing each other flowers and all this and oh, you look, you know, it's like, come on, that's not regular friendship. That's a power play a little bit. So I think that, you know, that stuff needs to be addressed too. I think. All right. I am live streaming. What are you talking about? Oh, you want to get into the live stream? I'm still waiting for whatever this. I don't know how to do this. I don't know. Oh, holy crap! I just figured out how to do it manually. This is amazing. Oh, guys, we're learning. We're learning. Here we go. Okay. Yep. Danielle Rose found ya. Danielle Rose, the Rita. And we're connecting.
Hi.
Yo, Danielle, is it Danielle Rosarita or Danielle Rose? What do you
Yeah,
go by?
Danielle. My middle name is Rose, and my cousin Kristen used to call me Danielle Rosarita. You know those like Rosarita beans that you get at the grocery store?
100%, girl.
Good as a
100%.
kid.
Yeah,
So she used to call me Danielle Rosarita beans.
that's fantastic. And where are you from, Danielle Rosarita? Beans?
I'm from Lompoc, California.
Oh yeah, I've been to
it's about an
Lompoc
hour.
before.
Oh,
Well,
okay.
I mean, I grew up in I know there's not a lot
Usually
going on.
people go.
I know. It's we passed through it. I mean, I grew up in Ventura, California, and so we would travel like literally family vacations. We didn't have money for plane tickets, so we would take we were road tripping every summer, and we would just basically go up the 5 corridor and we drive through different parts of California and so on. But it's I kind of like it because we really got to know a lot of California, which is such a beautiful state in so many ways. And granted, maybe Lompoc or Bakersfield or places that I know a lot of people don't love living, and there's not that much going on. Fresno, I love all you people out there in those places, but I get it. But yes, I'm aware of Lompoc and Rosarita beans. So if you wouldn't mind, because I loved your post. I ran back through it to see it. If you could just tell everybody who's watching, what did you message to me, and why I think that gives you a very interesting perspective on what we're talking about.
Okay. Yeah. So I had said that as a 25-year-old queer woman, I have a lot of perspectives on the term friend zone, but I also have a lot of perspectives on what you said your bigger issue with it was, the whole redefining and then not letting everybody know about the redefining. So with the queer community in particular, there's a huge issue with gatekeeping. You get kids coming into their sexuality and they're children, right? They're figuring this out as children. And maybe they grow up somewhere where it's not talked about, or they don't know anybody else who's queer or what have you. And they finally come into this and they think it's going to be this great moment in their life. But then they enter the community and they're expected to know everything. And it's horrible. It's horrific. And they tend to hate themselves for not knowing enough, and they're mistreated for not knowing enough. And there's not this, fostering of education. Just a few days ago, there was an event on my campus with Gabby Rivera, who wrote the America Chavez solo run of comic books. And she really heavily addressed the issue of gatekeeping and talked about how in one of her works, she did a lot of educating on, there's this term and it means this, and there's this term and it means this, and there's this term and it means this, because she didn't have that when she grew up. And so I feel I have noticed that gatekeeping has kind of become part of everything now.
Forgive me. What exactly is gatekeeping? If you could,
so gatekeeping is like if you have a group of people. So whether it's a fandom or the group of women who probably were the ones who decided that friend zoning is a bad term, or the queer community. So you have a society, you have a community, and they have made these rules, but they haven't told everybody the rules, and they expect you to know the rules already coming in.
Copy. So they're gatekeeping the information.
Right.
Okay.
So like if you don't know the information, you can't get through the gate.
Right.
So I do agree with you 100% on that there is this really negative expectation that you should have all of this information already, which to me is a really dangerous rhetoric when you consider the fact that things like Time's Up and Me Too are so new. Women are it's so new that we're taking this power for ourselves. And for a lot of people, that is a change in a lot of the rhetoric that they get to use. It's a change in interpreting things differently. It's things like, and I'm not trying to invalidate any woman's experience, but it's things like, so if I get catcalled on the street, right, it kind of squicks me out. Sure. But to a guy who's doing it, they think that they're being flattering. So if you're somebody who is, like you, who wants to learn, who wants to be good, who wants to improve, who wants everybody to be comfortable, then if you don't know that that's going to have that effect in somebody, how can you possibly change it is the thing. And so I do agree with you that the whole, if we're going to change the term friend zone, you need to be willing to let people understand that and come into that, rather than just expecting them to understand it right away. But for me,
but it also, sorry, I don't mean to cut you off, but isn't it also, I think, fair to give everyone at least a shot at weighing in on if we should change a word or not change a word? I find it difficult to believe that it's fair for a small group of people to just decide it. That's the first problem for me. It's a small group of people without asking everybody, without saying, hey, how does the majority of people, like, part of the reason I love the US is because it's a fucking democracy. On some level, hopefully we get to choose a lot of the legislation or legislators that are giving the legislation, even though I think that's God, I can't, well, you know what, when I start this podcast, we'll get into all that shit too, which is a fucking, that's the debacle in my opinion. But at least we're given the idea that we have this democracy. And I feel like when a small group of people just go, nope, we've decided that's what it is, you're alienating the rest of the population into getting to have an opinion on it. And B, then again, assuming they already know, like somehow we all read these HuffPo articles, or we all read these Vice things, which, by the way, most people don't. If you look at the 350 million folks in the United States, most of these people have not seen these articles. They did not know this was some big thing. It might have been big for someone. It might have been big even for that small group of people or that medium-sized group of people, but it wasn't. You can't just equate that and say everyone in the world should have gotten the memo, because the memo clearly wasn't gotten.
Yeah, and I do agree. Especially for me. So, like, for me, the biggest thing that I noticed. Get
out of here.
The biggest thing that I noticed when friend zone became a negative term, people tried to say you couldn't like the show Friends anymore.
Whoa, what?
Yeah.
It went that far?
Because of Ross is consistently friend zoned and is always complaining about it. And so people took that as like a negative aspect.
I had no idea.
A lot of people took like a lot of the stuff that Joey says as being like horrendously misogynistic. And yeah, some of the stuff didn't age very well, but that happens with everything.
That's generational comedy. I mean, I don't know what to. Yeah.
And so for me, I do understand your frustration. Yeah, I do absolutely. And that comes back to the gatekeeping term. It was this group, however small or large, that changed this term and then just expected and anticipated that everybody would be on board automatically. And so for me personally, the term friend zone, it's a very situational thing. You know what I mean? Like it can be, to me, I can have a negative connotation with it depending on how the person is saying it. But I also do think it is a good blanket term to describe the, situation when you like somebody and they don't like you. Yeah. I don't know.
Which is what I thought it was. Right. And to me, that is innocuous. That might not be the desired result or whatever. That is not using the term, which is what I was being accused of literally propagating and condoning essentially predatory behavior. I was like, whoa, wait a minute. That is not a fair assessment. And moreover, I wasn't even told that to begin with. I was just told, this is why you're an asshole and you're wrong and how dare you and I've lost respect for you. Not even told why.
And I do see the aspect of how it can be a predatory term, because there are people who do view it that way, but I have never been a fan of the phrase, not all men or not all. To me, it always sounded dismissive, but I do agree. It is not all men. It is not men. But there are people who do use it in this, negative way. But I think that, like you said,
I'm losing you. Can you hear me? Rosarita. No. Oh, boo. Danielle Rosarita Beans from Lompoc. I'm so just. I hired background actors for the live stream today. I just thought I'd, add a little flavor. Hey guys, we're nearing a 2-hour session here. Minus all of the ups and downs. From Germany, you don't know what the friend zone thing is, just go Google it. You can look at my timeline. I'm going to take this out. You can look at my timeline to get more context of what we're all dealing with. Rosa Rita Beans from Lompoc, thank you so much for weighing in. I really appreciate your point of view. I was hoping to get even more contrarian point of view. I genuinely was trying to find, I want to get into, to truth. I just want to find truth, and I want to find it together, and I want to find it with love. And sometimes that love is firm. Sometimes that's not just going to be okay, cool, whatever. I will not sit by and let people attack me for no reason with no context and expect that to not be shown, because we don't get to just hide behind avatars anymore, guys. It's not okay. It's not okay. Thank you for everybody. Shannon Fox, I love you. I'm so glad that you watched. Oh, I'm so glad. And I do miss you, boo. I'm sorry if the fandom or whatever comes along with that is a little too gnarly. But I love you, and tell your boy I said what's up. And really everybody that continues to follow me and support me, and who tunes in for these things. Even if you hate me, I love you. I really do. And I hope that we can all find some answers together, and we can keep moving forward and fixing this world, because it's fixable, it's doable, it's healable. We are fixable and healable, and we can fucking do it together. We just have to listen. We have to listen. It doesn't mean you have to shut up. It doesn't mean you don't get to have a point of view, but let's all interrogate our points of view. Interrogate your thoughts, interrogate your feelings before you share them, because they will be interrogated at some point down the line. Someone is going to take them to task, and it's better that we do it first so that we know what we're talking about and what we feel, and be ready for some reproach if that's what's going to happen. Anyway, God bless you guys. So much love to you guys. Have a fantastic day. I'll find you on the interwebs soon enough. Maybe in 30 minutes. You never know.